So good day everyone. So today I will explain how to analyze and graph the trigonometric function of cosecant, secant, tangent, and cotangent. So first let's go to the secant. So the given is y equals -3 secant and 3x minus pi plus 6. So the normal secant graph has a period of 2 pi, a vertical asymptotes, and a range. So the secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So let's go to the given. So the amplitude is always positive. So the amplitude here is 3. So next we will get the period. So the formula of getting the period is 2 pi over b. So the one the next to x is what we will put on the b. So this is how it will look like. So 2 pi over b. So let's substitute it. So it will become 2 pi over 3. Next, so p shift, it is the one inside the parenthesis. So and its formula is it's like x minus 1 equals 0. So inside the parenthesis is 3x minus pi. So let's make it so 3x minus pi equals 0. So we will divide both sides, then you get the answer. So which is pi over 3. So for the last step, before graphing, we need to get the final period by adding the phase shift and the period. So by adding the phase shift and the period is, we will get the 3 pi. So here is the graph as you can see. So the vertical shift is 6. So 6 plus 3 equals 9, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So what I add is it is the amplitude. So we will start in the 6 altitude, and it will go up in 9, and then it will go down in 3. So we will put the phase shift in the first, while the final is the last. So half of pi is, so let's get the middle. So half of pi is 2 pi over 3. So in order to get the middle of 2 pi, in order to get the middle of pi over 3 and 2 pi over 3 is, we need to add both of them. So 3 pi over 3. So it will be 3 pi over 3 when we add the pi over 3 and the 2 pi over 3. So 3 pi over 3 is, it can be reduced into pi. Then after that is, we will divide it into half, which is the answer is pi over 2. So next is, it is the same method in getting the value between 2 pi over 3 and pi. So add them both and divide into 1/2. So it's 5 over 6. Then so we have an interval. So I have an interval. So what will we do next? So we need to start plotting the points, which is, it needs to be vertically aligned in pi over 3, because that is the phase shift, and horizontally aligned in 3. So the next point is pi over 2. It will be aligned in pi over 2 vertically and in 6 in 6 horizontally, and the third is at the top, which is 9 and 2 pi and 2 pi over 3 vertically. And then the next point is at the 6, so 6 at the 6 and 5 over 6 vertically. And lastly, and the last point is it is aligned in pi and in the 4. After this is we trace and draw the graph. So next is we will draw the asymptote. So asymptote it is put in the pi over 2 and in the 5 pi over 6. So then we draw the reciprocal. Of it. So the domain is all real. Numbers except pi over 2, 5 pi over 6, and so on. So ang mga the pi over 2, the pi over 6, so it is the vertical asymptotes because secant is undefined there. So this means secant never goes between -1 and 1. So the range is negative infinity and 3 and union with 9 and infinity. So the graph goes down forever until 3 and up forever starting at 9, but never between 3 and 3. So this is the reciprocal. So the arrow in there is continue to infinity. So next is we will go to for the cosecant. So where is the equation? So y equals -4 cosecant open parenthesis 1/2 x minus pi over 2 close parenthesis plus 5. So the amplitude is here is 4. So always remember that the amplitude is always positive. So the next is we need to find the period. So the formula of period is 2 pi over 3. Then the one that ang 2 pi sa x is 1/2. So that is the one that we will substitute in B. So it will become 2 pi over 1/2. So the answer is 4 pi. So the next is we will find the phase shift. So phase shift is the one nga naa sa sulod sa parenthesis. So 1/2 x minus pi over 2 equals to 0. Then we will balhin the negative pi over 2 in the right side, so it will be positive. So 1/2 x is equal to positive pi over 2. Then in order to hawa sa pi over 2 as we will divide it into both sides. Then the answer is equals to pi. So the next is we will So next is the vertical shift. So we'll know the vertical shift. So it is the 5. It is 5. Then 5 plus 4 equals 9, and 5 minus 4 is equals to 1. Then we will get the final period, which is we add the period and the phase shift, which is we have the period of 4 pi and phase shift of pi. Then the answer is 5 pi. We have the final period. So here we go. So it is the same in plotting the points. The last is 5 pi, and well, the first is pi. Then in the middle is 3 pi. Then so it will goes to pi, then 2 pi, then 3 pi, then 4 pi, and 5 pi. In the graphing, so we need to plot the period. So after that we can trace. It will be the guide in us. So the first period is it will start in the pi, because pi is the phase shift. So it will be vertically aligned in pi and horizontally aligned in 5. The next is the point is it is in the 2 pi and aligned in 1, amplitude of 1. The next point is it will be good mo igbaw siya. Then it will be tupong in 3 pi and the amplitude of pi. Then it will be goes up. It will be aligned in 4 pi and in the amplitude of 9. Then it will be goes down. Then it will stop in the 5. It will stop in the amplitude of 5, and it will be stopped in the amplitude of 5 with a line in 5 pi. And after we plot the point is it is in the 3 pi, and next is it is in the 5 pi. So let's go for the domain. So the domain is x is not equal to pi, 3 pi, and 5 pi, which is it is the vertical. Where is the vertical asymptote? So next is we will go to the range. So the range is the formula of range is y is less than 2 or equal to -1, or y is greater than or equal to 1. So then we will have a -4, which is beside the cosecant, which is it will become the 4 amplitude. So we will substitute it. So y is less than or equal to -4, or y is greater than 4. Then shift up by 5. So it will become -4 plus 5 equals 1, and 4 plus 5 is equals to 9. So the final range is y is less than 2 or equal to 1, or y is greater than or equal to 9. So the equation is y equals -2 tan open parenthesis 1/4 x minus pi plus 3. So the parent function is tangent. So y equals tan x. So the tangent graph is always have a vertical asymptote, repeats every period, and has a range of a real number. So the +3 shifts the graph upward. So the midline is y is equals to 3. So the negative 3 reflect the graph and stretches vertically. So because of the negative sign, the graph decreases from left to right. So for tangent, the period formula is pi divided by b. So since b is equals to 1/4 so the period is, it will be 4 pi. So to find the so since the period is 4 pi, so the next asymptote is 6 pi minus 4 pi, so it equals to 2 pi. So the asymptote of for one cycle are 2 pi and 6 pi. So the graph approaches the asymptotes but never touches them. So the domain is all real numbers except for the asymptotes. So the range is all real numbers because the graph continues infinitely upward and downward. So next is we will graph the cotangent. So the equation is y equals to negative 2 cotangent open parenthesis 1/2 x minus pi open parenthesis close parenthesis plus 3. So the cotangent has vertical asymptotes and repeats every period. So the cotangent is undefined wherever sin is equals to 0. So the graph shifts 2 pi units right. So the plus 3 shifts the graph upward, so the midline is 3. So the period formula is pi over 3. So since pi over b. So since b is 1/2, so we will substitute it. So it will be pi over 1/2. So it will be 2 pi. So for cotangent, asymptotes happen where the sign equals to 0. So the asymptotes are at x is equals to 0 and x is equals to 2 pi. So the negative sign reflects the cotangent graph. So normally cotangents decreases, but this graph increases because of negative sign. So the domain is all real numbers except the asymptotes. So the range is all real numbers because it's infinity.